Millions of Americans are about to see their December 18th Social Security SSI and SSDI checks skyrocket to levels not seen in decades, with some beneficiaries set to receive increases surpassing $400 per month, immediately altering household budgets across the country. The Social Security Administration's unprecedented adjustment, reflecting the largest cost of living increase in over 40 years, is being implemented in response to inflation rates that have hit urban centers hardest: New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Miami, and Chicago among them, where average housing and healthcare costs have surged more than 12% in the past year alone. Analysts warn that while the immediate injection of funds will provide critical relief for seniors, the disabled, and low-income Americans, the broader economic and regional consequences are complex, triggering a cascade of effects across retail, transportation, and municipal service sectors, potentially influencing everything from interest rates to urban rent inflation. This adjustment is not simply an incremental increase. It is a nationwide financial shockwave designed to stabilize the economy, maintain consumer confidence, and prevent further social destabilization at a time when inflation remains volatile and the federal debt hovers above $35 trillion. Before we continue, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because these changes directly affect millions of Americans and could fundamentally alter the economy in ways that will impact your daily life, housing costs, healthcare, and even local job markets. Missing this update could leave you unprepared for the largest benefit adjustments in U.S. history. The operational details of this federal maneuver are staggering. The Social Security Administration has implemented a 6.2% cost of living adjustment applied retroactively, calculated using the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners, CPIW. For the 65 million Americans receiving Social Security benefits, this translates to an aggregate increase exceeding $1.2 trillion annually. Social Security disability insurance alone will see 8.2 million recipients receive a monthly average of $1,140, up from $1,250, while supplemental security income payments for 8.9 million low-income and disabled individuals will now range between $950 and $1,150, depending on living arrangements. The SSA has synchronized these adjustments with automated Medicare Part B premium recalibrations and federal tax withholding updates, ensuring that beneficiaries' net gains are immediate, but also highlighting the complexity of federal disbursement systems that manage billions of dollars in daily transactions. Geographically, the impact is most pronounced in states with dense populations and large elderly or disabled communities. California alone, home to more than 7 million Social Security recipients, will see over $200 billion in additional annual disbursements. New York, Florida, Texas, and Illinois will each experience increases exceeding $50 billion, injecting liquidity into local economies and potentially stimulating retail, housing, and service sectors. Smaller states like Vermont, Wyoming, and Alaska will experience less absolute impact, but still benefit from per capita increases, with significant relative boosts for rural populations where median income remains below the national average. Economists caution that concentrated cash inflows in urban centers could drive temporary spikes in local inflation, especially in housing, healthcare, and utilities, while rural areas may see secondary economic benefits as increased spending ripples outward through regional supply chains. Operationally, the SSA has undertaken one of the most significant logistical mobilizations in its history. Over 65 million monthly payments must be processed, verified, and securely delivered across diverse channels, including direct deposit, paper checks, and my Social Security digital notifications. The agency has upgraded data centers with distributed cloud infrastructure to handle surges in simultaneous logins and transactions, reinforced cybersecurity protocols to prevent breaches, and deployed machine learning algorithms to detect fraud, overpayments, or eligibility errors before they occur. Treasury coordination ensures liquidity is available, leveraging short-term Treasury bills and reallocating discretionary federal funds. Analysts note that while these operational measures are highly sophisticated, any lapse technical, administrative, or cyber, could create immediate financial hardship for millions of Americans, highlighting the extraordinary stakes involved in managing the nation's largest social safety net program. Strategically, the December 18th adjustment functions not only as a domestic economic stabilizer but also as a geopolitical lever. By strengthening the financial security of vulnerable populations, the federal government mitigates risks of social unrest that could divert attention and resources from foreign policy initiatives. Analysts observe that domestic financial stability supports sustained military readiness by reducing pressures on federal budgets and maintaining public confidence in government institutions. In practical terms, this allows the U.S. to continue operations in sensitive theaters such as the Indo-Pacific, the Eastern European Front, and Middle Eastern operations, without domestic instability forcing abrupt policy shifts. The government's approach demonstrates a calculated intersection between social welfare and national strategic posture, revealing how economic measures at home can directly reinforce U.S. global influence. Immediate social implications are profound. Larger SSA, SSI, and SSDI checks lift millions out of near poverty, directly increasing disposable income and consumption, which is expected to stimulate sectors ranging from grocery chains and retail to healthcare providers and urban transit systems. Urban transit authorities, for example, may see ridership spikes as seniors and disabled individuals gain the ability to travel more freely, while hospitals and outpatient clinics could experience increased demand for elective procedures and routine care. Economists predict a boost in consumer confidence, with potential for increased borrowing, discretionary spending, and small business growth, though with the caveat that localized inflation could offset some benefits if supply chains fail to meet sudden surges in demand. Federal budgetary consequences are complex. The combined $1.2 trillion plus injection represents a significant fiscal commitment, requiring continued monitoring of deficit projections, debt servicing, and federal interest obligations. Congressional analysts warn that sustained benefit increases without parallel revenue adjustments could pressure the Treasury to borrow further, influencing long-term bond yields, interest rates, and global capital markets. The strategic fiscal calculus involves balancing immediate social stabilization with sustainable debt management, a high-wire act complicated by global inflationary pressures, energy price volatility, and geopolitical uncertainty. Technologically, the SSA's deployment of automated analytics, secure digital portals, and enhanced encryption marks a turning point in federal benefits administration. Real-time fraud detection, eligibility verification, and dynamic adjustment of payments allow the agency to maintain precision in distributing billions of dollars monthly. Cybersecurity experts emphasize that in an era of sophisticated ransomware and cyber attacks targeting U.S. infrastructure, ensuring uninterrupted, secure payment distribution is as critical as the financial adjustments themselves. Operational failures could trigger cascading financial distress for millions of Americans, particularly in urban centers like Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where a single day of delayed payments can translate into missed rent, utilities, or healthcare appointments. State and municipal governments must adjust rapidly to the cascading effects of these payments. Local economies are expected to see increased demand for consumer goods, public transit, healthcare, and social services. Urban retail sectors may experience supply chain pressure as purchasing power rises in concentrated demographic groups, while rural communities could see secondary benefits as cash flows through local economies. Economists predict that careful planning at the municipal level is essential to prevent bottlenecks in service provision and ensure the economic benefits are distributed efficiently across all communities. The long-term uncertainty remains substantial. While the December 18th adjustments provide immediate relief and enhanced social cohesion, economists warn that sustained inflation, federal debt pressures, and potential future economic shocks could alter the net benefits for recipients. If inflation continues to rise, the increased checks may only partially offset cost of living pressures, leaving some Americans vulnerable to renewed financial hardship. Moreover, the government must continuously recalibrate policy, balancing fiscal sustainability with political and social imperatives. Global economic volatility, ranging from energy supply disruptions to interest rate fluctuations in European and Asian markets, could amplify domestic financial challenges, making the long-term trajectory of these benefits highly uncertain. In conclusion, the December 18th SSA, SSI, and SSDI changes are far more than routine adjustments. They represent the largest coordinated federal intervention in the social safety net in decades. By injecting over $1 trillion into the hands of seniors, disabled Americans, and low-income households, the government aims to stabilize domestic consumption, reduce poverty, maintain public confidence, and indirectly reinforce national strategic flexibility. Yet these changes carry deep operational, economic, social, and geopolitical consequences. While immediate financial relief is undeniable, the broader picture remains uncertain, with potential ripple effects on inflation, municipal services, federal debt, and long-term social stability. Analysts, economists, and policymakers will be watching closely to see whether this historic adjustment successfully stabilizes the nation or whether unforeseen challenges emerge, highlighting the precarious balance of sustaining a robust social safety net in an unpredictable economic landscape.